We're here with Simon from Australian band Assaulter, who've just released their first album, Salvation Like Destruction, on Pulverized Records. Welcome to Norway, Simon.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Okay, the album's been released on Pulverized, but it's also been licensed by, if I'm correct, Iron Bonehead.
Yeah, Iron Bonehead and High Roller.
What's the story there?
Basically, we just wrote around. We wanted an LP release. Pulverized couldn't do vinyl, so yeah, we approached, I think first, initially High Roller, because with Iron Bonehead we did a 7-inch.
Yeah.
That was a bit slow, and High Roller were like, oh no, we can't do it, blah blah blah. And then he wrote back later and said, yeah, we'll do it with Iron Bonehead. So we were happy. And actually the LP came out, I think 4 months before the actual CD.
That was a collaboration between High Roller and Iron Bonehead.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now, maybe not everybody knows, but you were previously playing with Destroyer 666.
Yeah.
And if I get my dates right, you moved over to Europe with them in 2001, and about a year later you moved back to Australia.
Yep, that's right.
Okay,
18 months. Yeah.
Okay, so Assaulter was basically your baby after the Destroyer period, and so it took a while to come together, right? But if you consider that it was, it's more or less, let's say 5 years between you going home and the album coming out. So when did you first assemble the band, or even like start actively moving towards creating?
Well, I think after moving back to Australia, I was a bit burnt out with the music. You know, just got sick of it. And after 2 years, just decided, you know, I'll just start playing music, coming up with riffs and stuff. And then a friend of mine, Luke, just said, yeah, you know, I can do a demo on drums, and I just laid down 3 songs with no intent, and they're nothing like what we do now, but they were alright, so I thought, yeah, fuck it, release it.
Yeah, because
as a demo.
Yeah, I mean, for example, the Omnipotent demo seemed to do quite well for you, didn't it? I mean, you spread it around quite a lot.
Yeah, well, that was the follow-up demo. That was the second demo.
Yeah.
And
was that the one that kind of that opened more doors?
Yeah, definitely. The first one, I think people were, yeah, whatever. But then I got AC on drums, and yeah, because I had a consistent drummer to play with. Yeah, we could work out stuff properly. So I think Omnipotent, yeah, it was more like what we do. I think you can hear that on this as well. It's quite similar.
So I'm led to believe that you haven't played any live shows yet.
No.
Okay, and is this more a result of like a declining scene in Australia, or just
it's geographical, yeah.
Yeah. But you haven't actually had a full band together in that, like a full lineup in order to play shows yet, have you?
No, not at all. We just got Tom on guitar as of last September, and that took years to find someone like that, and he came along, but we're still looking for a bass player in Australia, where metal is pretty much dead anyway, on an underground level. Yeah, there's no one around, but yeah, you just keep going.
It seemed maybe to an outsider that well, considering that Assaulter, the approach Assaulter has, which, you know, people would lump it in with bands like, you know, Gospel of the Horns and Destroyer, as opposed to Pegasus or something.
Yeah.
It always seemed to be quite healthy, but more in Melbourne. Is that
for a time? But I think even now Melbourne's, it's
struggling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. There's some bands from there, but there, you know, there's, you know, like you had Gero from Nocturnal Graves helping out with Destructor, and you know, and Hushy, who played in Gospel, also helped out Nocturnal Graves and Ergrund, and it's all, you know, so
it's been an inbred scene.
Yeah, totally. I think about, when was it? Probably mid to late 90s. Melbourne was, yeah, it was on fire. There was heaps of bands.
Okay.
Yeah. But now, yeah, it's gone.
If we're to think about Sydney these days, who would be the bands? Are there any bands from Sydney that would be kind of familiar to people outside Australia, apart from Assaulter?
Yeah, well, no one, of course. It's just Assaulter.
There you go.
But no, on an underground level, there's Shackles, a Sydney band, kind of speed metal. They've got some epic parts as well. But I think some underground heads like from Germany and the States are into it. There's Trench Hell, which are quite popular.
Yeah, because Trench Hell are making a bit of an anthem.
Yeah. I think the Americans go wild for them.
Okay.
The California thrashers.
Are they playing shows themselves?
Nah.
They're not?
Nah, it's the same situation.
Okay, so are there many underground shows, like with, let's say, homebred talent?
Yeah, Shackles play a lot.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We had Cemetery Urn come up from Melbourne, which is Damon Bloodstorm from Bestial Warlust.
Okay.
Like real fucking heavy death metal. I think there was, I don't know, 150 people there. And Vomitor came down in February. There were 200 people there for that.
Were you impressed? Was that a good number, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
For Vomitor, it's great.
Yeah, and if you manage to get a band together, which you hopefully will soon, you mentioned that ultimately your plan is to get to Europe now. I mean, getting to Europe, it's no easy task for a band from Australia.
No.
So, is it something that, I mean, a lot of Australian musicians are prepared to do when they're at that point, to self-fund a trip to Europe and play?
Yeah, I think so. There's been quite a few bands. I think there was a band called Virgin Black. I think it's like a black metal band. There's Alchemist who, I don't know if you heard of. Yeah. They've been over to Europe the last few times. There's Mortal Sin and all that kind of thing. I think more so now than 10 years ago when I was in Destroyer, we decided to go over. That was more of a rarity, But I know that like Nocturnal Graves are playing in, I think November at the Nuclear War Now Fest in Germany and that kind of thing. So
okay.
Everyone ultimately wants to go over to Europe because it's like, I mean, it's really dead in Australia,
And do people have this kind of, do you think a lot of people in Australia perhaps have this vision of Europe as being
Utopian.
more than it is? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because you saw it with Destroyer, right?
Yeah. I think you have this idea. Well, people see clips of Wacken and whatever and Inferno Fest. It's all happening, and you go to a show and there's thousands of people and all that kind of thing. But you're on a tour and you get to Hamburg or something and there's 12 people. It's the same thing. I think in Europe, everyone's used to seeing so many bands. It's like, why the fuck would you bother anymore?
It's just
unless it's really
okay, so
exotic or whatever.
There's more opportunity, but like maybe not as much reward as people expect.
Yeah, I think ultimately everyone would come home thinking, yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, new crowds. Thing is, if you live in Europe, you can skip borders and play to new crowds.
Easily,
but if you're in Australia, you can go to Melbourne or Sydney. You know everyone anyway, so what the fuck.
Okay, and as far as the Sorter go, and with this album, considering it's your first, and it was quite a while to build up to it, do you think the second one will be a long time coming? Do you have any plans to record soon?
Yeah, hopefully. We're hopefully aiming for November.
Okay.
To record.
Yeah. What kind of deal did you sign with Full Prices for?
Well, it was a one album deal for this, and we've gone back to them because. I mean, as small as Pulverized, well, I'd say even were, I think they're really building up.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I mean, this has just come out, so it's hard to gauge, but we approached Pulverized beyond the recording of this, seeing if they'd be interested to do a follow-up, and well, they claim they're really up for it. So, come November, we want to record and get it out as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I think this is, to get the name out kind of thing. And I think having a full lineup, you'd see something probably a little bit different even. And
so tonight you're going to be, at least for tonight, for the first night of the Inferno Fest, you're going to be in town.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Oh, I can't wait. It's been a dream from always.
Has it been more of a dream to stay in Hotel K as you have been?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
that was
good
the
to
ultimate.
Hear. So maybe next year, the year after, we might see you at Inferno.
Yeah, headlining with Warlord.
Yeah, that's right. Keep dreaming. Alright folks, you heard it here first.